The WNBA was founded in 1996, and for decades it showcased legends like Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi, and Sue Bird, who helped to create a league with heart and passion. Yet it still seemed as if it was hidden from the mainstream spotlight. Then a phenomenon arrived, a force of nature so powerful that she forced the world to watch. And it got people wondering, did she single-handedly change the course of women's basketball forever? Well, my friends, the numbers don't just suggest it, they scream it. And the scale of this transformation, it's not just big, it's mind-blowingly insane. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. Before the WNBA, there was Iowa, and even within the insane history of college basketball, what Caitlin Clark accomplished was unbelievable. We've seen generational college players such as Zion Williamson, Steph Curry, and Anthony Davis. They drew attention, but not in the same way that Clark did. Her 2024 national championship game against undefeated South Carolina drew in 18.9 million viewers. To put that into perspective, that made it the most watched basketball game, men's or women's, college or NBA, since 2019. Yes, she outdrew men's March Madness and even every NBA game. That's how many new eyes she brought. People were more interested in watching Caitlin Clark's college basketball game than that same year's NBA Finals. And it wasn't just TV. In October 2023, when Iowa played an exhibition game at their football stadium, Kinnick, 55,646 fans poured in, shattering the previous single game attendance record for women's basketball by 88%. Her senior year, Carver Hawkeye Arena was a perpetual sellout. Every single home game sold out, a program first. And when Iowa went on the road, arenas across the Big Ten, which often saw empty crowds, were suddenly overflowing. These weren't just Iowa fans, they were Caitlin Clark fans. Her college explosion was undeniable, but the WNBA, a league that had fought for visibility for nearly 3 decades, could Clark's electricity truly translate to the pros? The league couldn't wait to find out because the ripple effect seemed to begin before she even laced up her shoes. The 2024 draft, where the Indiana Fever selected Clark first overall, it captivated 2.45 million viewers. This wasn't just a record for the WNBA draft, it was the most watched WNBA telecast of any kind in over 2 decades. The anticipation for Clark was so wild that her simply being drafted became a record-breaking event, and teams across the league reacted quickly. They knew this wasn't just another rookie arriving, it was a guaranteed sellout. At least 6 WNBA teams made a strategic, unprecedented move. They shifted their home games against the Indiana Fever from their usual, often smaller arenas to massive NBA venues. The Washington Mystics, for instance, moved 2 games to the sprawling Capital One Arena. Why? Because they knew the Clark effect was real, and they were right. Their June 7th game against the Fever drew 20,333 fans, making it the most attended WNBA game since the 2007 finals. Later in the season, the Fever's game against the Mystics on September 19th set an all-time WNBA regular season attendance record with 20,711 fans. Her Fever jersey, it vanished from Fanatics in less than an hour after the draft. Not just the fastest selling WNBA jersey, but the fastest selling draft jersey in Fanatics history across any sport. Think about that for a second. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB. None had a draft pick generate this kind of immediate merchandise frenzy. She took the record from Trevor Lawrence, who was considered a generational talent in America's most watched sport. That's how ready the world was for Caitlin Clark. For the entire 2024 season, the WNBA averaged a staggering 657,000 viewers across all its national platforms, the best mark in 24 years. On ESPN specifically, games averaged 1.19 million viewers, a mind-boggling 170% increase from 2023. The 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, it brought in 3.4 million viewers, a record and an astounding 305% increase over the previous year. But here's where the Clark effect becomes crystal clear. When Caitlin Clark and the Fever played, their games averaged 1.19 million viewers. However, when other teams played, that number plummeted to 394,000 viewers. That's a 199% difference. Her individual drawing power isn't just significant, it's overwhelmingly disproportionate to anything we've seen from a single rookie in recent sports history. And again, it's not just TV. WNBA merchandise sales online at WNBAstore.com and the New York flagship surged by an astonishing 601% compared to 2023. From September to November 2024, Caitlin Clark's jersey was the second best-selling basketball jersey, trailing only to Steph Curry. She outsold legends like LeBron James and young stars like Wemby during that period. Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance professor and valuation specialist, estimated that Caitlin Clark was responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's entire economic activity in 2024. The league's current media rights deal, which was roughly $60 million per year, expires in 2025. With Clark's impact, the new deal, set to start in 2026, is projected to be worth around $200 million per season, more than tripling the previous value. But the true Clark effect isn't just about her. It's about how her rising tide is lifting all boats, creating an effect that benefits everyone in the league. The Indiana Fever's average home attendance increased by 319% in 2024. They broke the WNBA's single-season team attendance record with over 340,000 total fans. But here's the critical part: the entire WNBA experienced a surge. Total league attendance in 2024 reached 2.35 million fans, the highest in 22 years, and a massive 48% increase from 2023's number. Every single WNBA team saw at least double-digit year-over-year attendance growth. Other WNBA superstars like A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and the entire 2024 rookie class, including Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, are now playing to larger, louder, more engaged crowds on more national TV broadcasts than ever before. Their own brands are exploding, their social media followings are skyrocketing, and their endorsement opportunities are multiplying, all from the amplified attention. And for the future of player compensation, this is huge. The Players Union strategically opted out of their collective bargaining agreement after the 2025 season. Why? Well, because the league's surging revenue and skyrocketing valuation means players have unprecedented leverage. They are now in a position to demand significantly higher salaries and improved overall benefits in the next CBA. Her impact isn't just changing the viewership, it's fundamentally changing the financial reality for every single player in the league. So you would think there'd be lots of love for the player who single-handedly elevated not just her own brand, but the entire league to heights unimaginable just a few years ago. But why is it that even after all Clark's done, the players seem to absolutely despise her?
You know, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Jealousy is a strong word, but it captures the issue perfectly. Imagine decades of struggle for recognition, for better pay, for basic amenities like charter flights. Then a single rookie arrives, and seemingly overnight, many of those battles start to be won. While theoretically this benefits everyone, it can breed resentment. Veterans who have played for years feel overlooked or that their contributions are being minimized. Players get a feeling that someone is getting credit for growth they feel they also contributed to.
I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
But let's be real, the numbers speak for themselves. While all players contribute on the court, the undeniable surge in viewership, attendance, and revenue happened with Clark's arrival. Another reason that people seem to hate Clark for is supposed racism. Many prominent voices, including WNBA players themselves and sports analysts, have pointed to racism for Clark's overwhelming popularity. The argument often made is that Clark, as a young, white, traditionally feminine athlete from the Midwest, fits a media narrative and appeals to a certain demographic. This reasoning suggests that Caitlin Clark's popularity is solely due to her being white. While systemic issues in media representation are a separate valid discussion, to apply it directly to Clark's unprecedented impact is just ignoring reality. Did previous superstars like Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, or Diana Taurasi generate 18.9 million viewers for a single college game? Did their jerseys outsell LeBron James's? This argument often feels like a desperate attempt to find a reason to hate on Clark. It shifts the blame onto Clark's identity rather than acknowledging her undeniable marketability and skill that captivated audiences globally. So, did Caitlin Clark really save women's basketball? Well, her value isn't just measured by her stat line in a single game, it's measured in 20,000 seat arenas selling out. It's measured in record-breaking TV viewership and merchandise sale. It's measured in little girls across the globe dreaming bigger and believing in a professional pathway that feels more tangible than ever. Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she shattered perceptions. She didn't just join a league, she ignited a movement. She didn't just save the WNBA, she accelerated its growth by a decade, perhaps more in a single year. This isn't the end of the story, in fact, it's just the beginning. For women's basketball, the future isn't just bright, it's absolutely blazing. The Caitlin Clark era is here.